Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear viewers, Assalamu alaikum. I welcome you all to today's New Bangladesh. Here, as usual, we shall discuss new people, new culture, new economy, new science, new academy, new sectors, overall new Bangladesh. Today, as our guest in our studio present, Mr. Raihan Kibria. He is a IT specialist and academician working at present in Bangladesh. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum assalam.
How are you, sir?
I'm well, Dr. Ramit, and thank you very much for inviting me. I'm very glad to be here.
Welcome, sir. At the very beginning, sir, please tell us about you in brief.
As you mentioned, I am actually working as a faculty of computer science in a private university, Bangladesh. As for my education, I did my SSC and HSC from Kumila Cadet College back in 1986 and 1988, respectively. So I did very well. I stood fifth in combined merit list in both the examinations. So I also got, after I did my HSC, I got admitted to Dhaka Medical College. After about 2 months, I had to leave Dhaka Medical College because I was awarded a government scholarship to study computer science in India under intercultural scholarship. So it was a well-funded scholarship, full-funded. The tuition and everything was well paid. So I completed my bachelor's in computer science and engineering in 4 years, and I completed it with first class, and then I returned home. After I returned home, I started working for the local organizations. So one of my first job was as a faculty of computer science and engineering in Khulna University in CSE department. So I started working there, and after about 1 year, I left because I chose to do an MBA under IBA. So when I was doing an MBA, I also worked for Election Commission as an assistant programmer. So simultaneously, I continued my studies as well as practical experience. After I completed my studies, I joined a multinational company as an IT manager. And then after working for about 2 years, I went to the USA. I completed my master's in about 2.5 years. And I started working in a company as a developer. I worked as a developer for 2 years. And after 2 years, I decided to come home to help the local industries. And after I came back, I worked in the industry for about 10-15 years at various capacities. And I actually retired from industry as a vice president of Sonali Polaris. It's a very big company. And I started getting fully involved with teaching. So for the last 10 years, I have been involved with teaching in computer science or information systems. And I taught at various private universities, also some public universities. And now I am a full-time faculty of University of Liberal Arts. So this is my position, and I'm very much thankful that you invited me. I'm actually a great admirer of you, because at times actually you told me something about your philosophy, because you did a PhD in Russia, and there your philosophy degrees, philosophy courses are compulsory. So thanks. I hope we have a good discussion today.
Thank you, sir. I should say that you have a very brilliant academic career and a very much colorful life. But one thing is interesting for me, sir, that you started studying in medical college. In Dhaka Medical College, I know it's very renowned medical college, the best medical college in Bangladesh we consider. You studied there, but later you changed your education and you started studying in IT related, that means computer science and engineering,
Right.
IT related. So you even changed your future profession.
Right.
You could be a medical doctor today, but you are an IT specialist. But what made you to change the education, to change the subject, I think?
Well, I think finance played a part. My family thought that because it's a fully funded scholarship, they probably don't have to worry about funding. And I think maybe at the back of my mind, my parents also knew that I needed some international exposure, because India is somewhat different from Bangladesh. Yes. And actually, when I was at intermediate, I didn't know that two countries who are just separated by borders can be so different. So I think that gave me some good exposure.
So international exposure was the main cause, or
yes.
IT sector was your field of interest?
Yeah, I think both.
Very nice, sir. I know that at the time IIT was very much popular and was significant yeah, for us, for the people of our country. Well, sir. Now, as regards the IT sector of Bangladesh, you know that this sector is very much important, not only for Bangladesh, for the whole world, because at present we are experiencing the fourth industrial revolution. So, regarding the global market and our local IT market, okay, what can be evaluated according to you, that your evaluation, where stands our local market and where stands the global market, and how far we are from the international market or like this?
Yeah, I think that's a very good question. See, IT is an industry which is very much a universalist industry, in the sense that people, no matter what language they speak, what country they are in, what language, what culture they are in, they all use the same tools, same technology. The programming languages, theories, they are all same. When we write a program, we write using English language, not in Bengali. So in that way, IT services, IT technology, and IT-related education is somewhat universal compared to other subjects. So the competition is also global. It's not actually a local competition. So if our industry, if we produce good graduates here, they not only work for the local industry, they also work for the global industry. And the global industry is also moving very fast. So as you mentioned, it is a fourth industrial revolution. It's an era of artificial intelligence. So what happens is, most of the time, the outside people or the foreign people, they are actually the pioneers, because they do the research quite quickly. They have a long-term commitment to research. So in terms of innovation, they are sometimes, most of the time, they are actually leading. And our people, we are most of the time, we are following. So that, of course, if you consider whether we should be always first, we probably won't be first most of the time. But many of the time we can do maybe second best, but very good second best. Like there are many other countries who are actually competing for the global IT jobs, like Vietnam, India, China. We can probably compare ourselves to them, and that's how actually we should gear our education or skill sets. But you are very much correct that it's a global competition.
Okay, thank you, sir. You know that before 1757, I think before the Battle of Plassey, our country was agricultural country, obviously, but at the same time, it was a very big industrial country as well. But somehow we missed the industrial revolution. That means steam engine based industries. Okay, and that industrial revolution took place in England, later France, in Europe. So we missed that industrial revolution. But we should not miss this computer revolution or fourth industrial revolution. So what should we do not to miss this revolution?
Yeah, I think this is a very valid question. If you go even further back, like Middle Ages, people who did math well in mathematics, in logic, like Al-Khwarizmi, at that time we won't consider that Europe or the Western world was actually ahead of us. It's because actually the kind of education we invest in and the kind of mentality that we develop in, that matters a lot. So we probably missed, we are lagging in terms of the industrial revolution, because the Europe and those countries, they took lead, because prior to that, for about 200, they invested in enlightenment and their education system, political system. Those all matched up, so that the new industrialists, they could get a good supply of people, skill set to take the industry forward. But I think we have lagged not only in terms of IT, but also in terms of governance, administrations. But I think I'm very hopeful that the newer generation that we see now, they are fully energetic and they're committed and they want to prove themselves. And what could be better than the fact that in Bangladesh, we have more than 30% people who are actually young people who want to learn, who want to contribute. So I think there is a great opportunity for us to improve our education, get IT education or science education in general. I think we can become a leader at some point.
Thank you, sir. In industrial revolution, basically, besides those, the money they plundered from our country, the money and wealth they plundered, the British people plundered from our country, it helped a lot. And you see, we had the opportunity during the last 15 years to develop, but we could not do it because of that fascist government. They also plundered the country. Okay, billions of dollars were just shifted away from Bangladesh to other countries. So we missed a lot during last 15 years. So how can it be recovered? Yes, I am hopeful to Generation Z, obviously, but they showed us how energetic they are, how they love this country, their patriotism. Okay, the determination they showed us. We saw it in July Revolution. Obviously, we have big hope on Generation Z, but you're an academician. As an academician, we should guide them as well. So, what is our message as academicians to the Generation Z in this sector, especially IT sector?
Well, I think one of the major things that we need to inculcate, see, if the society, the leader of the society is corrupt, there is a saying that there is an incentive to keep the people ignorant because it pays. If we keep the people ignorant, then it's easier to hold on to power.
Yes.
So what happened in terms of in times of tyranny is that the general people, their education, the level of ethics deteriorate because government encourages those kind of things. But if we have good governance, as a teacher, what I can say is we should also put equal emphasis on ethics and the part that relates to the society and how an IT person can grow as a human being. He or she should not only be able to learn to program well, she also should be able to see how her work relates to the society ethically. So I think this is something a very good faculty can inculcate in our children.
Thank you very much. Okay, your answer just reminded me the Nobel lecture of Harold Pinter. In his Nobel lecture, he told that according to the evidences available to us, the politicians are not interested in truth, but in power. So to capture and to maintain the power, it is essential for them that the people remain in ignorance.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, that is a policy, but we hope that our today's government, interim government, which is led by a global celebrity, a Nobel laureate. Okay, he is also an academician, Dr. Muhammad Yunus sir, and obviously he is trying to help our country. Earlier, he helped our country, he helped the whole world. Now he is leading our country and trying to help our country. We hope that under his leadership, dynamic leadership, the country will progress. We hope it. And the Generation Z will get what they expected, why they did that July Revolution, we hope. Well, sir, now as regards AI, so artificial intelligence. Okay, some people are afraid of this AI, that this may get their job. The AI can capture the whole job market, and the human being, they may lose that job market and some more. So, what is your opinion about this?
I think that this concern is very much legitimate because most people are not like me. I actually work with AI and I do a lot of researches. However, as soon as we know that there is ChatGPT model that actually came to fore about 2 years ago, and it shook up the world. So everyone knows about it, and if you ask a question, it gives you answers in a blink. And these days, actually, you don't even have to write proposals or letters because ChatGPT does it for you. So when a ChatGPT first came, some journalists were very much upset because I was watching CNN and journalists were all the time they're complaining that maybe ChatGPT is generating stories automatically, so they might lose their job. This is not only a concern for journalists. Some of our developers, they think that ChatGPT is giving codes, so people don't have to write code. And some even voiced concern about teaching. Some question me whether my job will be there in the future. So I think these questions are very, very much legitimate. And what I think is that there is always chance for new technology, and there will always be new things. So every time a new thing comes, people will always, it's very much normal to voice their apprehensions. However, there is also a scope in the new era of artificial intelligence revolution, because most of the jobs, most of the work that are routine or repetitive could be well replaced by artificial intelligence. For example, a secretary, she doesn't want to write letter every time in a new way. She can just take help of ChatGPT and get a draft, and then she can modify. So these kind of repetitive things, office work, will probably be replaced a lot by AI. However, work will get replaced, not the worker, because worker is a creative human being. Worker can adopt new technology or newer way of things. Just like when printing press was invented. When printing press was invented, lots of people who were writing, making copies of Bible, Quran, text, scientific literature, they no longer had to copy it manually. But they have adopted. What they have done is they have actually learned how to operate the printing press, and they could make better printing material by investing in creativity. The same way, their work was replaced, but the worker remained. The worker is a better worker, more efficient worker, more creative worker. So the same way, what we hope that this AI will actually free us of lots of routine work and will make our time more efficient so that we can enjoy life better and we can be more productive and creative.
Thank you, sir. Okay, your answer reminds me a short film by Satyajit Ray, Anukul, where he showed that using robots, okay, that robots can replace a human being, but basically not. As for myself, about ChatGPT, when you are writing something, ChatGPT is answering. But some of my friends sometimes call me living Google. When they ask me, I can answer instantly.
Yeah, I noticed that because you have a wide array of expertise.
Okay. So what I think that human brain is always more efficient, okay, or more, so what should I say, more informative or more capable than any type of AI or something like this. So there is nothing what could replace human being. This is firstly. And another thing, what you mentioned your last printing press like this. Yeah. Yes, what happened that there is a building in Calcutta called the Writers Building, I think. The writers worked there. There was no Xerox machine, there was no typewriter at the time. They wrote using pens and pencils. Okay, those people are called writers. They copied documents, government documents. But now there are no writers because we have Xerox machines and others. However, the people did not lose their job because new job field were created. So we are getting new and new scopes and more scopes. So I think nothing to be afraid of AI or ChatGPT. As regards ChatGPT, yesterday I was teaching my son. He usually uses ChatGPT and does studies or he does his homework or like this. However, he came to me, Father, I don't understand this thing. Okay, then I explained him some problems related with vectors. Okay, then I asked him, doesn't ChatGPT help you? He answered me, no, not 100%. So human brain is always more capable than any program or any type of artificial intelligence, I think. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Well, now about this big data. That now we are using very big data. You know, you told that you worked at the election commission. They have, I think, a few million data like this.
Right.
But yes, we have 20 crore people in our country. Among them, how many are voters? I forgot.
I think about half of them.
Half of them, 50% of them are voters, maybe even more. Okay, then each and every voter has many information like your name, your father's name, your spouse's name, okay, your education. So it's a very big data. And even in Facebook, what we are using, that is also a big data warehouse, I think.
Right.
A big data warehouse. So what do you think about this? How can government or any organization or any international organization can manage this big data?
Yeah, I think, you see, it's one of the problems that came to fore since 1990s, right after the explosion, the revolution, or the introduction of internet. So previously, people used to have data, like in a corporate, if you work, you can store all the data of a corporate in a server, in one server. But right after 1990s, when internet came, people started contributing from all over the world. So what started when one machine can probably store 1 terabyte, but now we have zettabytes. So millions of terabytes of data. So how to store this data was a research topic back then. It is still now. So there are algorithms and there are techniques which people came up with so that they can, one of them distributes data among the various, among a set of computers, maybe thousands of hundreds of computers. That's what is called a big data. So something as a big data can be thought of as, I think you know, I'm just saying for the general audience, it's like an elephant as a pet. So we all love to have pets. So I love probably cat or a dog. However, elephant, if I ask for an elephant, that is, can I keep an elephant as a pet? When I bring an elephant in my house as a pet, it gives me a lot of logistic problems. Where to put it, how to feed it, how to clean it, because it's
Very big,
humongous.
yeah.
The same thing is with big data. So when we have zettabytes, zillions of bytes of data, where to store it and how to retrieve the data in small, in a short time. So researchers and all those big companies, they actually came to make algorithms and some techniques to store those data. And now actually big data is not a problem. It is more like it is actually giving you benefits because when you have data from all over the world, you can probably track anybody in the world, especially private data, because all the time we are clicking, we are putting statuses on Facebook. So all the data is actually getting collected, and data collection is very easy. So with the benefit also comes the privacy risk.
Yes, as regards privacy risk, yes, some are concerned about this privacy risk because our personal informations are getting government and getting other organizations. As regards government should keep it secret. But yesterday I read that some brokers they just they did not keep this information secret and probably sold it somewhere outside. So it's a big risk. So how can we prevent it?
Yeah, I think this is one of the concern of the modern world because data collection is so easy and data storage is also so easy. When we are giving our data to a company or to the government, probably we are giving it out of good faith. So for the NID service, for example, if we give data, we think that we are giving data because we want to get the NID and we want to vote and we want to get verified everywhere we go. However, this data should remain with the NID office only, and there should be policies that this data should not fall into bad hand, because maybe all the people in the government, if we think, maybe they are all ethical, they are not going to do anything bad. But at some point, maybe since data remains forever, at some point, maybe this data will fall into some bad hand. Maybe within the government, or maybe this data will be shared to somebody else. As a result, there is always risk that the data violation, privacy violation was, because in our NID database, we have all the information about ourselves, and it's very easy to abuse somebody. And you and I all know what big organizations like government can do. So I think it's a very much of great concern, grave concern. If I think about it, I always think about Nazi Germany, how Jews were prosecuted based on their demographics. So there is always risk that this data will fall into bad hand, and the private citizens, the good citizens, will suffer at some point.
Well, as regards some social medias, we ourselves are giving our private data to those medias, and there are complaints that basically they are spying on us in that way.
Right.
Is it right, or what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a very, very not only right. We saw several instances where data by Facebook or the social media were used to discriminate against some ethnic people, and not only discriminate, it helped in genocide, where in Myanmar, what happened right around the time when the Rohingyas were they were expelled, what happened is Facebook was used to promote propaganda, and Facebook at that point didn't have enough check and balance to ensure that the news is not fake. They did not at all worry about putting some professional to judge whether some post should remain or the post should remain deleted. So it was a very big breach, and recently one Facebook employee came up with whistleblowing, and actually I came to know this from a congressional testimony of her recently. So I think these social media companies, they should be more vigilant, not only in their country, about other countries, because now technology is actually distributed everywhere equally. And there are other instances as well. I think it's a whole one employee of AI recently got killed because it is thought that he's got killed because he divulged some secret of ChatGPT, OpenAI. So it is not proven yet, but people think that he was an ex-employee and he leaked some information about OpenAI's questionable practices. And a few days ago, he was actually found dead. So his parents, they're suspecting that he did not commit suicide. He probably was a target because he went against the industry. So these practices are actually hurting all of us these days. We are not actually immune from them.
Well, in terms of global competitiveness, what areas can develop our local IT industries?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. Our local industry, we are producing from the universities. There are several institutions that actually help develop students. So one of them is obviously the universities. Also, we have to think about the diplomas because they also provide a good number of people in the industry. And when we prepare students for the market, the universities basically they have set up a curriculum, and I'm also a teacher, so I'm saying we try to keep the curriculum up to date and on par with the global standard. Although it's not always possible because of lack of variety of faculties. Because in the advanced countries, people have a research culture, so you have a diverse skill sets of people or faculty. And when a good faculty comes in, he or she also brings in our line of work. As a result, what happens is we are also producing graduates, but many of the times maybe they are not right away. They cannot actually integrate into the foreign industry, or they cannot get recruited as faculty abroad. So I think these things are improving if we are keeping our focus on improving not just quantity but also quality. One thing I noticed is some of our faculty, when they have got their PhD or research credentials from abroad, some of them, when they come back, they fail to use their skills. They fail to cater their skills to the local market because they have actually learned everything abroad. So there are many faculties who also can contribute very well. In the local market, a former industry person, I can say there is sometimes a gap between what the industry wants and what we are providing. There is a reason why this gap exists, because our university education, we mostly have created the curriculum as per the foreign curriculum, which is quite different. The foreign situation is different. So local industries sometimes they complain that our graduates are not really ready-made for them. Yeah, this is to some extent true. So I appreciate that University Grant Commission has some policies to integrate industry with the universities, but it lacks a lot of things. I think this will improve in future, and any education system will flourish if we give enough independence, freedom to the faculty, because faculty is everything in a university. I think many of the universities, teachers probably lack the freedom that actually hinders education of the students.
Well, thank you, sir. As regards the freedom of the faculties, teachers of universities, we don't enjoy much. We enjoy a bit. And another thing is, as regards the private universities in Bangladesh, they are highly regulated by University Grants Commission and Education Ministry. What should not be. They should enjoy some freedoms, I think freedoms, but to the positive direction. And as regards the curriculum, yes, the curriculum is also not fit for our country, even for abroad as well. As regards the gap between the industry and the educational institutions, there is a very big gap. When I studied abroad. When I studied there, okay, the last semester was dedicated for that they taught us something contemporary. That at that time, the program Windows was very new, so it taught us this program Windows and some other IT related matters they taught us, and it helped us a lot. So I think in our universities, both public and private, 2-3 months I think should be dedicated for that, to just prepare them for their next professional life, that for industry or other professional lives. but still we don't have this type of program. We have
Right.
internship program. The internship program is basically just to get experience of jobs or works, or to make them just to introduce themselves to the job area or job sectors, but not preparing them for jobs. So there should be a program for this.
Right.
Yeah.
What happens in our interns, it's a very funny thing. The industry or the company that is hiring them, they know that this guy actually is not ready at all. So what they do is they neglect the intern. They give them some menial work. As a result, the interns get frustrated because he or she is not learning, because they want to learn, because they are not given good work to challenging work to work. So it cuts both ways. Both the intern also doesn't get a very good exposure, and the company is also not benefiting. So I think the gap can be only resolved only if we pay at least more attention to the students, so that right away they can be useful by giving some hands-on tools.
Of course. In many industries, they even do not pay the intern students.
Right.
Okay, even they are not paying the conveyance.
Right.
Okay, so thus they are getting frustrated, these intern students. And in some industries, they even demand money from them.
Yeah,
If you want to get internship in my organization, you should pay for it.
Right.
I think they must spend a part of money from their CSR, corporate social responsibility, and it will help both the students and then industries as well.
So they are actually once the CSR, actually they are just giving away some money. Why not actually give it to them so that you also get some benefit?
Well, as regards research, any good event starts with a good research. Any good event. So if I want to develop my IT sector, both in industries and in academic sectors, okay, there must be some researches in this sector. So what about our researches in this sector, in IT sector? What is the condition of our research?
Yeah, I think this is one of the not so glorious points, because we over the last few years, actually, our people, they can work in the IT industry abroad, they can contribute, but the research area is actually a major hindrance in Bangladesh, or a drawback. I remember in the US, actually, you have Bell Laboratories, and even Microsoft, Google, they publish lots of research papers, and from them, actually, academicians learn. But our corporations actually are not that big or not that equipped for research. So most of the research burden actually falls on the faculty and some research institutions. And the faculty actually, most of the time, they're too busy, especially the computer science or the science teachers. They are tremendously busy because they have to invent all the time, be creative in the class. So the research time, I think, is very limited, and also fund for research, because I remember I just attended a conference in the USA back in November, and for that, actually, I had to do lots of funding on my own, to not only for the travel, but just to do the experiments, because I have to hire some machines from abroad, and I was not getting enough fund. As a result, what happens is I have to wait for a long time to get some cheap hardware to research on. So there are constraints, tremendous constraints to do good research in Bangladesh. And as a result, what happens is we also don't get funding from abroad or from companies to fund, because people think that, I'm pouring money and I'm giving it away. Actually, this should not be the case, because most of the innovation in the world comes from research. May not be a research that is done just last week or the last month. Maybe a decade-old research can generate great benefit to the people. For example, we are actually moving to the space now. Now we have broken the gravity. So this gravity equation has come from, say, Newton or Galileo.
Many years back.
Many years
back.
Okay. So what they have done is actually benefiting us right now. We are using electricity for computers. So similarly, for anything we have to wait, but our situation is not actually too much research-centric these days. I think all the companies or all the countries in the world who are actually advanced countries, they have invested time, money, they have waited because they have resources to wait to get the dividends. So there are small countries as well, they are also benefiting from this. For example, Japan is not very large compared to US, but they publish lots of papers because there is lots of patent laws and IP protection laws that they can enforce. I remember in our country, if we develop a software, it probably gets copied. So the proprietor doesn't get the benefit. I think both the governance also has to be strengthened to protect IP, patents, things like that.
Thank you. I remember that I also worked for the research section of Sony company. And as I came to know that the Sony company has a very big research wing, and they publish a lot every year. Each and every year they publish a lot, because you see, if there is no research, the Sony company will not develop, because each and every day they are getting new and new electronics and other things. It helps. Another thing is, as you told about Sir Isaac Newton's research and Michael Faraday's research. Those are all basic research. And I remember one thing that Michael Faraday, what he did, he showed that positive and positive, they repel, positive and negative, they attract. And the Prime Minister of England at that time told him that what we are doing, this is a childish play, and how can it help the society or help the country? Then Michael Faraday told, today you are telling that it's a child's play, but tomorrow you will impose tax on it. Now we know that, in electricity that we are paying high tax. That's why that basic research, they should not be neglected. Basic research should be done. So each and everyone should pay attention to research, both government and the big organizations and all commercial organizations. And what happened, you tell that the university researchers, they can finance government, the commercial organization. They can also finance the universities, the researchers to do some research, and they can get help from that output or the results of their research.
Right.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Another thing is interdisciplinary research. Well, I remember that once I told someone in university, he's also an academician, about multidisciplinary research or multidisciplinary talent, and he answered me, they don't take it positively, that when someone is multi-talented or he is doing multidisciplinary research or he is doing research in various directions, they don't take it positively. And that comment was funny for me. But basically you see that we are using mobile telephone. The mobile telephone is the product of a multidisciplinary research, but we are using electronics there, we are using computer science and engineering there, we are using physics there, we are using mathematics there. It's the product of multidisciplinary research. Same about nuclear medicine. That is also the product of multidisciplinary research. As regards this sector, IT sector, how you are using the multidisciplinary researches in this sector?
Yeah, I think one of the things we have to, when we think about is during the COVID, actually we all benefited from the vaccine. And this vaccine was actually developed not in 10 years, it was developed in 1 year, 1.5 years. And this invention of this vaccine and drug discovery, although it's a biological field, but actually it was quickened by the use of computers, by using machine learning to see the pattern which can work, which can be tested, so that you can go to a drug discovery faster. So whenever we have a breakthrough technology, all the time it is a multidisciplinary nature actually, most of the things. As you have mentioned, any technology, it doesn't actually stay in vacuum. It has to serve some other discipline for it to be effective. So I think to say that someone is a specialist in something and should stay in that field, I think this is a really very naive idea. And an open person actually is open to research with other disciplines. Say, for example, say social science, or say physics, or biology, or mechanics. I think everywhere actually, when computer or technology is used, technology is not used by itself. It is actually being used to speed up some of their work, or some of their work can be made better easily. So I think it's very important to do multidisciplinary research, and I am very much open. I have submitted some proposals to the government for doing multidisciplinary research, and let me see whether how they entertain it.
Well, nice. Actually, I didn't know that to invent the COVID vaccine, we used information technology. I didn't know. I thought that it is the product of biology and medical science. Well, I remember that in university, I teach complex variables. I teach them. But
Right.
this complex variables helps in information technology
Right,
and
right.
imaging.
Right,
Imaging. So how it is related? You see that mathematics
Right.
related with the information technology.
Right.
Okay, can you tell few words about this?
Well,
And imaging helps in medical science as well.
right.
Medical science.
So
Okay,
imaging
tell us few words.
actually, why do you need imaging? Because imaging for X-ray result to be detected, we can use computers. So many modern testing machines actually use computers or the computing technology in general. And the image actually, how is a image represented in a computer? Images are represented as numbers, and to represent a number very efficiently, we have to know about the gradients, and we have to know actually which way information is hidden mostly. So for this thing actually, for a long time, Mr. Fourier has developed
Yes.
a system, and that system actually relies on complex variable, the analysis. So if we want to make a product useful, we have to actually go way back and look at the mathematics, and that way actually complex variables, differentiation, integration, everything actually has to come and blend in an engineer's mind. Then only we can actually make a product. Otherwise, making any product will be very cumbersome. It will not be easy. And without statistical validity, none of this actually will work, will be implementable. So the whole world is actually running on computers, not on computers, but on mathematics, physics, things like that.
Yes, thank you, sir. I remember that Pythagoras, that famous philosopher and mathematician, he told that God is a very good mathematician. And nowadays we know that any natural phenomena can be expressed mathematically. And as regards information technology, it is fully based on mathematics, I think.
Exactly.
Okay. So the any computer scientist, he must know well mathematics. Okay. Is there any use of statistics in computer science?
I think if we think about the big tech companies now, they rely mostly on statistics. For example, say Uber. So I took an Uber on my way. How does Uber determine the wait time? How much I have to wait? It is determined by the past data. So using some statistical pattern, it can predict like when, how long the passenger has to wait, or even what the fare would be, and even what route to take to this place. So I think
yes, this is how statistics helps in information technology.
Information, I think it's very, very vital. And I have been teaching, and I know that you are a very good statistical teacher. I found that students often they don't appreciate actually their life depends on statistics.
They think that they will not need statistics in future.
In future.
But it is a very much vital subject in statistics.
Right. Statistics is the basic, because you have done your PhD, and we know that once someone has done a PhD, doctor, he probably knows that he knows nothing, because the more you know nothing. So most of the times, most of the things are unknown. But we still live, we still make decisions about unknown. How do we do? We use statistics. Using past data, we make some decisions. Without statistics, actually,
we cannot predict.
We cannot predict. We cannot even live, I think.
Live, I think. Yes. And where there is uncertainty, there we need statistics. And the future is completely uncertain.
Uncertain. And God has actually made a nature, and this nature is actually modeled through mathematics and statistics. So.
Well, sir. Very right. Well, in university, I teach a subject called quantum mechanics. Okay, it's a very high level subject. But usually, the students of computer science and engineering, as I teach them, I teach in the department of CSE, both in public university and in private university. What I marked that the students of CSE, they think that this quantum mechanics they will not need anymore in future. So they do not get much interest. But what do you think about this? What about the information technology or computer scientists? Do they need quantum mechanics?
Yeah, I think I was very surprised that someone was teaching quantum mechanics to the computers, because most universities don't. And if I do not think critically, I'll say, no, why do you need this? Is probably very too much futuristic or it is theoretical. No, it's not the thing. This is because actually modern computers are built on zeros and ones, so they can store only 0 or 1, two states in the semiconductor.
Yes.
However, managing the computers are somewhat hindered by their ability to make them one or zeros, because it takes nanoseconds, some time to make it one or make it zero. But what if we have not only one, two states, if we have 10 states, 20 states? That way, what we can do is we can turn on and off very quickly. And using a small amount of time, we can actually store or manipulate lots of information. So computer is actually about manipulating information. So one of the reasons, say, we want to harness the power of quantum mechanics is because quantum mechanics opens the way to harness lots of states at once. So if we want to predict further into the future to make people's lives easier, for example, there are certain diseases that we still can cure. For example, cancer. So many of the cancers are not curable. Why? Some of them are curable. However, there is a thought that by using DNA analysis, probably we can predict, or we can actually identify the pattern which says that which gene should be turned on or turned off to stop the cancer. But to do that DNA sequence and modeling, we need very powerful computers. Modern computers actually are not able to work with those. If we have quantum computers, we probably can quicken the research to come to a solution. If we think about any disease, Alzheimer's disease, dementia, diabetes, probably all of them are curable. Just we have to locate the genes. So when we have quantum computing, we probably will be able to cure these diseases. Right now, there is research in Google and in Western countries to harness the quantum computing and to make it available to others. Still, quantum computing hasn't reached the point where people can use it en masse. But right now, there are a lot of job opportunities where people can contribute by using their quantum mechanics knowledge. I think when I thought about it, I think that, of course, this is a very, very interesting subject and is very practical subject. And I applaud the university authorities to introduce this subject.
Well, very well said.
Yeah.
Very well said. Well, as regards that genetic engineering or genes of our bodies, as far as I know, I'm not a biologist, that there are 46 chromosomes in our cells, each and every cell of our body. So the mathematics is like 46 factorial. It's a very big number.
Exactly.
And not only chromosomes. Inside chromosomes, there are genes.
Yeah.
So they are more in number. So if we want to study those genes, so we must have very powerful computer.
Right,
There's
right.
two states, 0 and 1, cannot help.
No, it's
there
going to
must
take
be
years.
more states.
It's going to take maybe 2,000 years, 3,000 years.
Yeah. Now, why Roman numbers failed? We had Roman numbers because firstly, they didn't have any zero, and secondly, they have only three numerals like 1, 5, and that X. LX. But when 10 digits come, that 0 to 9, it helped a lot. And till now, we are using these Arabic numbers, and which is helping our modern mathematics a lot.
Yeah.
So if in computer there will be more states, not binary, not only 0 and 1, it will help a lot, and will help in studying genes and others even.
Yeah,
I think it's a very good idea. Another thing is, as a physicist, is interesting for me, that is quantum entanglement.
Right.
It will take 0 seconds or 0 times, to transfer information.
Right.
Quantum entanglement.
Right.
Earlier, we thought that it is impossible in reality. It was theoretical. It is impossible in reality. And recently, I studied that a few months ago, it was achieved in reality.
Right.
Reality. Can you tell us a few words about this?
Well, I'm not a physicist, but I can tell you about the practical aspect. I think if you use quantum entanglement, so you can actually work on cryptography that we use today. So cryptography, that I can tell you, cryptography is actually how we transfer information through computers from one computer to another by in encrypted form. And right now we use some encryption algorithm that has been proven to be unbreakable by the current standards. But through entanglement, the key of those that can be guessed, because something that is entangled and that resides in China and that is entangled and we can observe it here. That way, the same thing actually can be seen in both the places. As a result, the key security actually is not valid as before. So using this actually, we can actually test how powerful our computer cryptography is.
So is it commercially achieved or commercially feasible?
I think commercially is the problem because in special circumstances, scientists have proven or they have observed it. But the commercialization actually it requires a cheap method and cheap method to source. So things like that. And I think people are actually working to make it happen, make it cheaper.
Let us hope for the best. Hope
Yes,
for the best
yeah.
for the whole mankind.
Yeah, I think we should work keeping the utility for the whole mankind. Right.
Well, sir, I think I asked all the important questions. I touched all the points. I think anything left? What do you think? Anything left? What I didn't ask you?
I think you covered a lot of things. Yeah, I think you must. I was not prepared to answer in so much detail, but I thank you for asking those good questions.
Well, another question probably I didn't ask, that is freelancing and outsourcing. No, our generation Z is now working on it. Many of our generation Z, our children, they are working here, living in Bangladesh, working for abroad. Just working for some American companies, working for some Danish companies, for British companies like this. So, what is the future of freelancing in our country, and how does it help? Or are they involved in a good job?
I remember back in 2005-06, actually, I also did some freelancing because I was pretty young at that time. It was exciting, but what I found often, I can give you some first-hand experience. There are lots of freelancing jobs, and since Bangladesh actually demographic, they are actually English speaking, it helps that to get a job. And if you have good skill, you can actually build relationship. One of the problem with freelancing that I found, that I'm going to explain. Later, I'll be giving you that in details because I think it's valuable that you know what I face. I found that actually during freelancing, because of the distance, the time distance, it creates some problems because I don't want to talk to someone at 12 o'clock at night, or he or she doesn't want to talk to me in her 2 a.m. So that creates a problem. And the second thing is something called a gig economy, where you work contractually for one person and then you move on to the next person. To do that may be sometimes exciting, but sometimes actually it can be draining because you have to learn new things, new tools. So when you are young, those are exciting, but as you get old, you want somewhat stable things. So yes, freelancing has opened lots of opportunities for the world and for the people. I think every young person should do it at some point and to get experience. And sometimes what happens is you will be given some low skill job. I think still it is better you do it, but you should always try to increase your skill level so that you can move up and get some job which actually excites you or gives you more benefit. Maybe a permanent job where you have benefits. And also be careful with whom you are doing freelancing because not all people are same, right?
Thank you, sir. As regards IT sectors, very promising sectors, and what I understand in today's discussion, that in each and every sector we need IT specialists, starting from the medical science to the mechanical industries. So it should be encouraged, it should be developed, and always money plays a role. Do you think that our IT specialists or IT academicians, they are getting enough remuneration for them in our country?
I think, say, in academy or IT industry, when someone is working in the IT industry, most of the time what happens is his work is not, or her work is not done even after 5 a.m. because probably he is in charge of the online banking and people are doing online banking late at night, say 9 a.m., 9 p.m., 1 a.m. If there is some problem, then the IT person gets called up, woken up. So he's actually probably, if he's not lucky, he's working round the clock all the time. So it's actually very demanding in IT work because people are always wanting best for them, good service. And I think for the academicians also, the IT people, they have to actually keep up to date all the time. All the time, they are always busy. But the organization probably they should treat them a little bit better by giving backup resource person, so that one can get some relief from their work. So I think faculty or the IT professional, they should not be treated just a 9 to 5 employee. Probably they should be given flexibilities that will help. Yeah.
And as regards remuneration, do you think that it's enough what they are getting from their organizations, from the universities?
Yeah, no, I don't think that's enough, because actually it's very demanding, and they have to keep up to date. And I remember in Bangladesh there was an incident with Bangladesh Bank. Do you remember, sir, the Bangladesh Bank heist in 2016, I think, 14, 15. So I was thinking actually what happened and what would prevent that. So I talked to a few person, and at that time I was working in a bank as a vice president of a bank software. What I found was actually there was some security lapses in a vital critical component like Bangladesh Bank server. We have audit system for IT because it's connected to the international money gateway like SWIFT. So when SWIFT was installed in the Bangladesh Bank server, there were some audit, and experts actually they set up the system so that it is secure. It cannot be hacked from outside. However, later at some point, this security lab, there were security labs. Probably somebody actually upgraded the server or relaxed some security rule to get some work done. At that very moment, actually, some hackers from outside country, they came in and then they took the money away. So if I think in terms of what computer professional could do to prevent this kind of things, what I think is that as soon as that server was touched, as soon as that server was upgraded or provisioned for doing some other thing, IT specialist not only should work alone, he probably should bring some other IT audit expert, security expert to see whether everything is fine. And to make that judgment, he has to be given enough time and he has to have peace of mind. And if he is not given that peace of mind, if he is not giving enough remuneration, enough rest, what happens is a security breach occurs, and how many millions got siphoned away? Billions. On the other hand, if we paid him a little bit more, we could have given him just $1,000 instead of siphoning away 1 million.
Yeah.
So which is our option? What should we have done?
Yes, very nice, sir. Very often we get complaints about hacking in bank accounts, in Bikash accounts, or in places like this. So how can we prevent this?
There are 2 or 3 things that I need to focus. I think, thank you, sir, you have brought it up because it's a very vital thing, and lots of people have actually complained that their Bikash account has been hacked. Somebody else has got information about their Bikash account, what balance there is, and he's asking for money. This is a very common thing. And if you think about it, if we have some people in Bikash, is an IT worker, and he's not properly educated to follow the security protocol, or say he's just dumb, he has given the data to somebody else instead of thinking about the implications. So somebody else can get the data, somebody else can probably get information from him for other customers, and they can do this kind of thing. So it's very vital that the IT professional is trained in a very professional fashion, so that he or she is aware of all these things, not only technically but also society. So a good, solid governance structure, I think, is very important. Don't you think, sir, that we need both the policy and technique?
Yes, policy and technique both. Yes.
Right.
Recently, there was a complaint. We came to learn from the medias that there was hacking in WhatsApp accounts. Many WhatsApp accounts were hacked by the hackers. Okay, and finally it was broadcasted in our medias, electronic medias. Earlier we thought that WhatsApp accounts are secured enough, and it is difficult to hack it. But how could it happen?
Sometimes what actually I remember, WhatsApp actually is right now it is owned by Facebook. But before that, WhatsApp actually was a separate entity. When Facebook bought WhatsApp, Facebook actually paid a hefty sum to get a WhatsApp, and Facebook wanted to pay to place ad on WhatsApp. You see that there are no ads on WhatsApp. The WhatsApp original owner, they refused Facebook that we are in the board with WhatsApp and Facebook, but you cannot place any ad. That way, WhatsApp remained ad free. Ad free means the information probably did not get leaked from WhatsApp itself. But WhatsApp is owned by Facebook. So there is a possibility that some data was leaked from Facebook, the linkage from WhatsApp, which is actually against the will of the WhatsApp original founders. This is very concerning because we are all we think that it is actually end-to-end encrypted.
Encrypted, yes. Yeah. It's written there.
That's why, that's why we are using.
We should be careful always.
Exactly.
Nothing is end-to-end encrypted.
Right.
Well, sir, yes, I think I have touched all the points. So nothing left from your side. What do you think, sir?
No, I think we have covered a lot. I think.
Okay, sir. Now you have a new Bangladesh. So, what is your suggestion to a new Bangladesh as an IT specialist, as an academician?
I think we should look very positively to a new Bangladesh. I think one of the foundation of a good governance is freedom of people, freedom not just from speech, but freedom to act. So if someone wants to open a business, he or she should be open a business without any problem. If someone wants to create some songs, some software, she should be able to do it. So I think that free aspect is really good now. And also, I think a good governance structure can help. I remember you're talking about Mr. Kant, philosopher Kant.
Yes.
Yeah. So I always think about it. Like he says that do such that if what you do becomes a universal law, it doesn't harm anyone, at least benefits the society. So I think we should follow a culture of dignity, self-respect, individual freedom. I think if we maintain those kind of things, we actually look forward to a very vibrant country, just like the many Western or advanced countries that they enjoy now.
Well, the previous regime, that fascist regime, they campaign about digitalization of Bangladesh, digital Bangladesh, digital Bangladesh, digital. Continuously, they uttered this. Did they really help in digitalization of Bangladesh?
Well, if you think of that, I remember I read one article away some time ago that says that worldwide happiness in general increased. So with or without the government. So government is actually, I feel, it is a bystander. Bystander. It seldom helps in making people's lives better. What governance can do is make the law and order better, make the streets friendlier, but people do the innovation. So in digitalization, any business that comes with or without the government. So I think the government has very little role, and that should have little role in interfering with business people's lives or normal citizens' lives.
Thank you very much, sir. This is all with our today's discussion. Dear viewers, I hope that you enjoyed our discussion. So this is all with our today's program. Hope to see you again in our next episode. Assalamu alaikum.